Welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
The master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Look into the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
What up? Welcome to another episode of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We are on episode 16. Real quick before I get started, the intro song that plays before the show starts is from a good friend of mine named Richard Desiree, also goes by Bobcatgoldwav. The intro song is called Blind Ambition, but he did just recently release a beat tape under Bobcatgoldwav, which is kind of like his producer alias, and I will leave a link to that in the description below and probably in the podcast with like a snippet of one of the songs so you guys can check that out. Of course I gotta plug the homies, but I don't plug him just because he's a friend, but because he is a very talented rapper slash producer slash musician. So try to, put his work out there. I think you guys would dig it. So I'll leave links to a few of his works in the description below. So check that out when you get a chance. As far as today's episode, we got a little bit of music, a little bit of movies. I gave in and went to see Power Rangers, so I'll probably start with that. And then I got an album I'll get into, and then a very, very short and sweet EP that I'll cover at the end. That shouldn't take too long because there's only 3 songs, but we'll get there when we get there. So, excuse me, I did just eat, so I apologize if I burp during this podcast. It might happen, but we will start off talking about this Power Rangers movie that I went to see probably about a week and a half ago. I liked the Power Rangers when I was younger. I wasn't like a super fan, but I mean, everybody watched the Power Ranger. Everybody loved the Green Ranger. I was no different. When I heard they were making a live action, I was a little hesitant at first. It kind of reminded me of the Turtles remake, which I still never watched because I love the Turtles, and I don't know, like the new Turtle movie gave me kind of a bad vibe, even though I heard it wasn't that terrible of a movie. But I was not gonna originally see this at first, but I had a couple days. I think I was on vacation when this came out, or at least when I saw it, I was on vacation. I was kind of sitting around the house. I didn't have a whole lot going on, so I was like, well, why not? Why not just go see it? It might not be terrible. So I went to go see it, and my expectations were low. So for me, I was actually pleased with what I saw. Let me give some shout outs to some people. This movie was directed by Dean Israelite, if I'm saying his name right, and written by John Gettin and Matt Sazama. And I mean, I'm not gonna get too much into the story. I feel like if you don't know the Power Rangers, I'm sorry. If you're a newbie, if you didn't grow up on the Power Rangers, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna explain this movie to you. If I won't spoil anything in the movie. I don't know. I try to keep my movie reviews spoiler free. But I mean, it's the Power Rangers. If you grew up watching the Power Rangers, you know how the story goes. And yeah, I liked what I saw though. I mean, I think one of my knocks on this movie would be that. I hope y'all can't hear the trash people outside. They're outside being reckless. But one of the things I will say about this movie, the one knock I'll say is, if you watch the previews did kind of show most of the best parts of the movie, minus the they showed the Megazord in the preview, but they didn't show like everything that, of course they wouldn't show everything that happened, but like that scene was a little longer than what the preview showed, and had a really dope ending to it. But like I thought the movie overall was solid. It didn't do anything great, but it didn't do anything bad. It was just kind of it's kind of like Straight Line. I mean, it had a few high points, but nothing like really blew you away. They did switch around some of the Rangers. So Zach, who is the Black Ranger, and in the original was literally a black person, is now he was played, I believe, by an Asian gentleman named Ludi Lin, if I'm pronouncing his name right. And then Billy, who was the Blue Ranger, is now a black guy, played by R.J. Soler. And shout outs to him, man. He was probably my favorite character in this movie. He was a really kind of like quirky guy, but he was really, really, really smart. And I think I like that he's very like aware of how like weird and like quirky he is, but like he seems to embrace it. I thought that was really dope. And well, I guess mini spoiler, he was the first one to morph. So hey man, MVP. My MVP of this movie. I know Jason, technically Red Ranger, is the leader, but hey man, Billy morphed first, so I'm giving Billy Billy's the brains behind the operation. I'm giving Billy that crown. But yeah, I mean, the first half of this movie does kind of drag, but I kind of expected it. Of course, you got to go through the whole origin of, what was everybody doing before they were Power Rangers. And in this movie, the way they started it is these students were in, I can't remember if it was summer school or detention. Excuse my memory. It's been like a week since I've seen it, so my memory is not all that well, but they were in like either like detention or summer school, so everyone was in there for like a specific reason. So like the Red Ranger had got in there because he had gotten into some like car accident because he was out being stupid and he crashed into somebody's car, so he got in trouble for that and it ruined like his whole senior football season. So he ends up in detention. Billy the Blue Ranger, he kind of revealed later in the movie that he was there because he blew up his lunchbox. Like I said, he's a really smart dude. He plays with like gadgets and stuff a lot like that. So he he wasn't a bad kid. He just accidentally literally blew up his lunchbox. I can't remember why Kimberly and the Yellow Ranger, I can't remember why they were in there. I know they explained it, but I like even with the switches of the Rangers, like I said, they switched the Black Ranger to the Blue Ranger and all that. But like I like the casting for the Rangers, even though they switched them. Like I feel like nobody was really out of place. They all definitely fit the theme of kind of just like your average young kids in high school, kind of, a bit mischievous. They're not like bad people. It was a little cheesy, but it's Power Rangers. It's supposed to be cheesy, So it was a good mix of. It was like they just took the old Power Rangers and just updated it to 2017, but they still retained some of the, the cheesy factor of it. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. Like I know I've seen some people who were kind of felt, I guess, the opposite about it, the way I did, that they didn't really enjoy this at all. But I guess for me, it's just because my expectations were pretty low. So when I saw it and it wasn't complete garbage, I was like, oh, all right, this isn't actually a bad movie. And actually, I'll give a shout out to Elizabeth Banks, who played Rita, because when I saw the trailer originally, I don't know, it was something about her. I was like, man, not feeling it. Like I don't know, man. I don't know how this is gonna work. But she actually, I thought she played a really dope Rita. She was insane. Like there's really no other words to to put it. Like she literally was insane, and I won't go into specifics, but Rita caught some bodies in this movie. Like Rita was like, this movie was PG-13, but Rita had some rated R. She had some rated R moments going on in this movie. Not to spoil it, but the scene in the alley, for people who've seen it, y'all know what I'm talking about. The scene in the alley when she was digging for gold and the homeless guy was next to her. Yeah, man, Rita was Rita was on to this movie, but she played a nice cheesy villain, just a nice cheesy villain. She got the job done. I didn't like her in the trailer, but the more I saw her in the movie, I was like, okay, I get it. I don't mind this actress at all. This is actually a pretty good fit. As far as Zordon and Alpha 5, Alpha 5 was pretty cool. He was voiced by Bill Hader. I hope I'm saying his name right. He was kind of like, I won't say, I guess, he was kind of like the comedic relief in the movie. Zordon, who was voiced by Bryan Cranston, give him a shout out. I don't know how I felt about Zordon in this movie. Like, Zordon was actually pretty mean in this movie. Like, he had no, and I get it, when the Rangers first became the Rangers, of course, they're all confused. They don't really know what's going on or why they were chosen, and Zordon's pretty much looking at them like, this can't be the squad. Like, there's no way that these guys are who they're supposed to be. And it did kind of seem like the whole movie that, like, Zordon, I can't even say on the low hated them, but it's not really on the low. Like, I feel like he was never a fan of them. Like, even as the movie progressed, like, he just didn't like any of the Rangers. So yeah, Zordon was kind of a douche in this movie. But I mean, he was. I think I don't remember the original story from Power Rangers that much, but he I believe they kind of switched up his origin story as well as Rita, so that might throw some people off because I don't remember in the show, like, I don't think Zordon was ever a Ranger, and that in this movie is kind of like the origin that I believe him and Rita were both Rangers at one point. But like I said, they tinkered with a few story things and character things here and there, but for me personally, it wasn't enough to be like, oh, I hate this movie. They did minor tinkering, but I didn't mind it. But yeah, Zordon was a douche, and instead of being in a giant tube, he's now yelling at people through walls, which I guess, I don't know, I think it's part of kind of the updated 2017 look. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe the tube just wouldn't work in this day and age. I didn't mind the wall. His face kind of like shifts and moves, and I don't know. I thought it was decent. I think that's just kind of the word for this movie. Like, it was just decent. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was just solid all the way through. And the highest moments, of course, when the Megazord shows up. The Megazord does what the Megazord does. Rita had a few. I like most of the scenes when Rita showed up because she was just crazy, just kind of like menacing villain that just kind of came in and just wreaked havoc wherever she went. I think the only thing in this movie, or one of the other things that kind of disappointed me, I don't say disappointed, maybe a little underwhelmed, like I kind of expected a little more, was just kind of like the action sequences. I mean, as cheesy as the show was, like, the action sequences to me in the original show weren't that bad. Like, some of them were actually pretty good. Like, Power Rangers and Scrap, don't get it twisted. They're running around in these, ridiculous looking suits, but when it comes to the hands, they're not slacking off. So I thought the action in the movie was a bit, I don't know, it was kind of, not including the Megazord fight though. The Megazord fight was dope. I wish it could have lasted a little longer, but the Megazord fight for me didn't disappoint. But like, as far as them just being in their regular outfits and just kind of like fighting the putty people, which is kind of another thing they changed about this movie, but I completely understand, because we all know the putty people back in the day looked ridiculous. Like, the putty people looked ridiculous. So they kind of updated them, but now they're kind of like these rock monsters. It looks really weird. Like, now when they punch them, they just crumble. I don't know. It took a while for me to get used to that, and that might. I'm sure they'll do a sequel to this because of the way the movie ended. They'll definitely do a sequel. So I'm not sure how I feel about the putty people, but I guess it is what it is. But yeah, like the action sequences were, I don't know. I thought they left a little more to be desired. Like they could have done a little bit better. But then I also think, I guess you could attribute it to, it's the first movie. The Rangers are still figuring things out as they go. They're not gonna become just monsters and masters overnight. So I would hope whenever they do a second one, which I'm pretty sure they'll do, because we all know, everybody in the world's waiting for the Green Ranger. We all know he's gonna come eventually. So I'm pretty sure if he shows up, it'll be in the second movie. And yeah, I would just hope maybe that aspect they would improve on it. But I mean, aside from that, like the dialogue was cool. It was okay. It had like the little cheesy comedic moments. And like I said, the Blue Ranger, for me, I really, really, really liked his character. Like all of his scenes were just like pretty funny. Like he held the movie together for me. He was easily my favorite Ranger in this movie. And then you do kind of get to see, I guess it's not really too big of a spoiler, but there's a scene where they kind of discovered their powers, but they're still not all 100% sure like what's exactly going on. And they're trying to work as a unit, but they can't figure out why they can't morph. And so they have this scene where they're all sitting around like a bonfire, and everybody's kind of like opening up to each other, and it's like, you get your little cheesy heartfelt moment. But I mean, it's cool. You get to see in that scene specifically like their background and how they kind of like what they were up to before now, what makes them act the way they act, and things like that. So I thought that was dope. So yeah, I mean, overall it was an okay movie. I don't know. This isn't something that I would say like, oh, you gotta go see it. I mean, if you got like younger siblings, or I don't know, you're married, you got a family, you guys just want to have like a little fun outing, I don't think this is a bad movie to go see. Like I said, especially if you got younger siblings, I'm pretty sure they would enjoy it. But on the same token, it's not something that like you need to rush. Like I don't think personally it's not like a must see. I gotta cancel everything I was gonna do so I can go see Power Rangers. Like I don't think it's that kind of movie. Like you could wait for it to come out on DVD and get it, or even eventually, I'm pretty sure at some point it'll end up on Netflix or like Hulu. I don't know. It'll end up on some streaming site that you can look at it at. So yeah, I mean, you don't gotta go out of the way to see it, but if you do go see it, it's not a bad movie. It's a nice, decent action flick, updated nostalgia. Yeah, that's it. Because if I say anything else, I'd probably just end up spoiling the movie. Oh, and one last thing, because I saw a lot of people complain about like their outfits, and I get it. 2017 Power Rangers basically look like little mini Iron Men running around, but I like the new outfits. I mean, I get it. We all want the nostalgia, but it's 2017, man. They're not gonna go back to those. They're not going back to those outfits that we grew up on. Like that's not gonna happen. So I don't mind this updated look where they all look like little Iron Men running around. So yeah, I guess that is my last tidbit about that movie. So Power Rangers, if you're gonna go see it, you might be pleasantly surprised. Like I said, my expectations weren't too high, so I ended up liking what I saw. If you go in there thinking it's going to be the most amazing thing ever, you might be disappointed, or I don't know, you might not. Just go see it. Don't let even me tell you what not to see, or go see it, form your own opinion. But I think for the most part people will enjoy it. Probably a lot better than they're enjoying Ghost in the Shell, which I know I mentioned I mentioned it before on this podcast that I binged the series like Ghost in the Shell. Like the anime took over my life for about a month, and I do plan on seeing a live action movie. I know I'm gonna regret it. I know I shouldn't do it, but maybe Sunday. I don't know. I might catch a matinee just because it's cheaper. So instead of taking $12 from me, they'll take like $9. But that's another story for another day. But if I do go watch that, I will definitely do a podcast, because I know whether I like it or not, I'm gonna have a lot to say about that movie. So, but yeah, Power Rangers, man, decent flick. If they have a sequel, I'm in there. I'm all about it. And yeah, so that's about it for Power Rangers. I won't linger on that too long, even though I've been talking about it for almost 20 minutes. So on to some music. And it's been kind of a slow, I don't say it's been a slow music like week for me. I just feel like most of the things I've been listening to haven't been like recent projects that have come out as of late. But the homie Devin The Dude dropped another album called Acoustic Levitation. And I decided to talk about this. Well, one, because I think it's a decent album. It's not great, not terrible, but like it was an enjoyable listen. But Devin is one of those artists, for people who don't know, Devin The Dude is a Houston artist. Been a part of Rap A Lot for, I feel like, since like the beginning of the time. I'm not sure if he's still with them. I'm not sure what label this album was released under, but either way, he's been affiliated with Rap A Lot since pretty much Rap A Lot started. He was one of the first artists from that label that I had ever really listened to. And he's just one of those guys, especially in like the Houston scene, that like he's a true vet in every sense of the word. And he's been holding it down in Houston for a long time. And I think he slightly gets overlooked. And I can kind of see why. Maybe I think I could understand why some people might, I don't say might not like him, but maybe why he gets overlooked. He does have a pretty particular style of music, which I'll go into in this album. This album, much like a lot of his work, is mood music. Like it's not gonna really blow you away or anything like that. But no pun intended. If you listen to Devin, you know why. You know why I said that. But he's just one of those guys who I'll put on and listen to if I just kind of wanna vibe out. So Acoustic Levitation came out, I don't know, it's been a couple weeks, I believe. This is a follow-up to One for the Road, which that came out in like 2014 or something like that. So it's been a minute like since we've heard Devin. And for people who, if you've never listened to Devin's music, I think the best way I could describe it, you're gonna hear a lot of weed, you're gonna hear a lot of women, mixed in with a little bit of real life. He is also a storyteller, a very comedic storyteller, but storyteller nonetheless. But I think what I like about Devin, and what I think probably a lot of other people enjoy about Devin, is even though his content doesn't change all that often. Not to say that he doesn't talk about any social issues. It's kind of far few in between, but he does have moments where he may address a serious topic every now and then. But for the most part, I think a lot of people like Devin's music because he has like a very comedic approach to rapping and songwriting. Like he really comes across as a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously, and I think in that way it kind of makes him relatable. Like even if like I don't even smoke, and most of his music is about weed, but I like listening to him because he just comes across as like an average guy. And a lot of rappers kind of brag and boast about, I got the baddest chick here, kind of like that's just real false bravado. And Devin's just comes across as like, he's just the dude in the party. He's just trying to have a good time. He's not bothering nobody. He's not trying to fight anybody. Like Devin comes in, he's trying to just have a good time, and then leave when he's done. Like he's not like a larger than life personality. He's just a really chill dude, and it definitely translates into the music. I guess that's kind of where I'll start. Sonically, Acoustic Levitation, if you listen to the title, if you can imagine what that would sound like, it's kind of what the production on this album is. A lot of it is very It's very subdued. It's very chill. It's vibe music. Like, it's something you put on maybe when you're in a car, you're just trying to cruise, you're just trying to zone out, and you just gotta put this on and you just let it do its thing. And that pretty much carries throughout the tone of the album, which it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. Like, I think this album kind of sums up pretty much most of his career. Like, when you listen to Devin, you know, or at least if you've been a fan of him, like, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some really chill songs. You know, he's gonna talk a lot about relationships and failed relationships. He's gonna talk a lot about lust, and you know, he's definitely gonna give you all of the weed smoke talk that you can imagine. Like, he definitely is in that vein of that kind of music, and he does it very well though. Like, that's definitely his lane, and he tends to stick at what he's good at. And I guess I never really expect him to do anything different, and I don't even mean that as a slight. It's kind of like he knows his lane, he stays in his lane, and if he just so happens to do something different, cool. If not, I know what I bought this album for, and I know what I'm getting. I guess to get into the album, just to talk about a few tracks in specific. This album it is mostly kind of the weed and women talk. The relationship theme is actually a little heavier in this than I thought it would be, especially compared to like previous albums. Like, the opening track, Can I, is pretty much a track of him, you know, spitting game, pretty much, plain and simple. Like, and I feel kind of bad because I can't really go too deep into like the content of the tracks because they're very simple. Like, he's a very straight to the point artist. Like, there's nothing coded. There's no lines that are going over your head. Like, when you listen to these songs and you look at the titles, like, you know, like, everything just syncs up. You know what you're gonna get, and he's gonna give you exactly what you think you're gonna get. And it's just kind of either you like it or you don't. Like I said, Can I is the opening track, and that kind of sets the tone for the album. It's him just, you know, pretty much, like I said, spitting games to a chick, asking her, can he be the chosen dude? Pretty much. It's very cut, dry, straight to the point. But like I said, what makes him, or at least for me, what makes him fun to listen to is just like he has this really kind of like this really subdued comedic approach. Like I said, he doesn't really take himself too seriously. And it's just like, it's a really chill approach to the topics that he tackles. Moving on down the list, I go to the second track, Are You Going My Way? It's like a track of him. I think he was like, he's in his car, he passes by a chick who I believe is like on a bus stop, and, you know, obviously he's attracted to her, so they kind of have like this banter of where he's trying to, you know, he's just trying to figure out what he's up to, if he can take her where he needs to go, and they have like this kind of like fun back and forth. And then at the end of the track, he finds out like she has like 4 kids, and he has to make all his room in his car, and now he's kind of regretting even talking to her in the first place. But like, that's the kind of stuff like Devin does. Like, he makes like these kind of like average stories, and then he'll throw in a little like comedic twist at the end. So that song was good. Please pass that to me. Track 3 is another good one. I like how this album started for the most part. Can I was good. Are You Going My Way was okay. Please pass that to me. I like that one. We High Right Now. It's kind of on that one. Then track 5 is Bye, and that's another good one of pretty much him saying, you know, by any means he's got to get what he's got to get. He's gonna do what he do. Yeah, he's gonna do what he has to do to get what he needs to get, and that's another one. And then after Bye, it kind of leads into my favorite track, which is the title track, Acoustic Levitation. And like, it's tracks like these that make me listen to Devin. Like, this is like some of the most chill, just laid back, like the perfect vibing music to listen to. So yeah, that track is awesome. And like, if you see the cover of the album, it's a picture of him. He's got like a blunt in his right hand, and all you see is his feet sticking out, and he's like literally just levitating. I mean, you can't see his whole body. It's literally like just like his leg, the bottom of his legs, his feet, his hand, and then like the blunt he's holding, and it's like a little bit of smoke in the air, and it's him just like hovering over a neighborhood. It's like that track pretty much encompasses like this entire album, and especially like it'll make you think about the cover. Like, yeah, that I love that song. It's just super chill, and it's pretty much about him just trying to relax. Like, he's just trying to enjoy life. He's trying to get away from, you know, all the drama, all the, you know, trouble that he might be surrounded by, and he's just trying to chill out. So, I mean, in that level, it's a very relatable track. Everybody has those moments where you're just trying to chill, man. You're not trying to get into a bunch of trouble. You're not trying to hear a bunch of noise. you just want to relax, man. You just want to vibe out. So that's one of my favorites. The next track, I'm in the Galaxy. I'm kind of 50-50 on this track because like, I don't mind, like, the verses to me are cool, but it's something about that hook that I'm in the Galaxy. Like, I don't know, man. The hook, I don't know. I mean, Devin does his little harmonizing, and even I think he knows he's not a great harmonizer, but it passes. But that hook, I don't know. It's something about when that hook comes on, it's a little, I don't know, it's a little too much. But actually, I also point that track out because it's probably one of the more, I won't say upbeat, but that beat knocks probably a little harder than any other tracks on this album. Like I said, most of this album is actually pretty subdued. But that one has a little kick, has a little knock to it. Continuing scrolling on, Apartment 8216. Tracks like these are also why I like Devin's music. And it happens at least once in album, probably more than once. He'll throw in he'll throw in an interesting like storytelling track. And really, I can't even say just tracks, because he does that a lot in the music. Like, even if you pay attention to a lot of verses, not even just on this album, but like any of his albums, like he's always telling some kind of story, or just like describing how his day is going along, and then like something weird happens, or, you know, like he always, he's a very descriptive artist, not descriptive in a way that's like technically, I guess you would think, like introspective, but just kind of like, hey man, this is what I did this morning when I woke up. Now I did this other thing, and now I'm in some nonsense. Like, Apartment 8216, the track starts off with him, I think it was on like Pornhub or something, and he ended up talking to some chick, and, you know, she invited him to the apartment, and then like he shows up to the apartment, and he quickly realizes when he get in there that there's some extracurricular, and not the extracurricular activity he was looking for. There's some other stuff going on in the apartment. Like, I think he described like he came in and, man, what did he say? He was hearing like these weird voices, and some dude had his balls cut off. It was something wild. Like, it was a funny track though. Like, tracks like that also are why I like his music. He'll throw in these really just bizarre, interesting stories. So like I said, the first half, even though I do tend to skip around a few of these songs, but like, I like the first half of this album pretty solid. But after Apartment 8216, to me it kind of falls off. After Apartment 8216, it goes into It's Cold in Here, which topically is a good track. It's him, that's one of the tracks on here where he is kind of just like talking about real life issues, and, you know, how dirty the industry can be. You know, you got to watch out for snakes. You gotta take care of yourself, you know, out here. But the song was just okay, and then it goes to Do Your Thing, and it goes to Don't Get Naked. Actually, that's not a bad song. Actually, it's kind of about him trying to resist his ex, pretty much. So that's actually not a bad song. But like it is kind of like this middle section kind of from like track 9 down to like 12, or like I said, I don't mind Don't Get Naked, so I'll go to 9. 10 and 11 were kind of 12 was Don't Get Naked, that was okay, and then it goes to 13, You Know I Want You, I was like but it ends with Do You Love Getting High, which, I mean, do you love getting high? I don't. You already know what that song's about. I don't think I really need to go into detail, but that also, much like the title track Acoustic Levitation, is pretty much another reason why I just like Devin's music. It's the epitome of just vibe out, just kind of chill out. And I think that song has a music video, I believe. Actually, I think that was one of the first videos that was released like prior to this album coming out. So I'll try to leave a link to that to the description so you guys can check that out. That's actually a good song that's a good bar for Devin's music. Like, I feel like if you enjoy that track, you'll like everything else that he does. And if you don't like that track, then he might not, maybe he might not be the guy for you. But yeah, that was pretty much total of the album. It's only 14 tracks, so this album it's not a terribly long listen. Like I said, it does, unfortunately, to me, tends to drag a little toward the middle and the endish part, but it does end strong with that track. So I mean, give it a listen if you just want a simple album, something you don't really gotta think too hard about. You're not getting any crazy bars, or you just kind of want to vibe out, stoner music. Pretty much the way to describe it. But like I have to give Devin props though, man, because like I said in the beginning, he's been holding it down in on the Houston scene for a long time, and I would say he is a legend of Houston, or of Texas music in general. Like he's a pioneer. He might not get his credit, like people might not mention him in the same vein as like a Ghetto Boys or Scarface or UGK or even like a Zero, but like he's up there. Like he's one of those dudes that he's been in the game probably maybe 2 decades. I can't remember the first I can't remember when his debut came out, but he's been around for a long time, and he has kept himself relevant in that scene since he's been out and active. And he may take little breaks here and there between albums, but when he drops albums, like his core fan base is always there to check on what he's doing. Like he does good at keeping a core fan base and keeping his fans pleased. They know what to expect from him pretty much if you've been riding with Devin for this long, and for the most part he always delivers. So yeah, man, give Acoustic Levitation a listen. Like I said, I'll leave a link below if any of these songs have videos. Like I said, I think Do You Love Getting High, I think that has a video, so I'll leave that down there so you guys can check it out. I would say though, if just one more tidbit, if you've never listened to Devin, I'm not sure this is the best starter. If you want to hear like some of his best work, my personal favorite album, even though I haven't heard all of Devin's albums, he does have a lot of, that's another thing, his discography is actually pretty lengthy. It's actually a lot longer than I thought it was, but I would say Just Trying to Live, that's a good starter for if you've never listened to Devin's music. That's probably, for me, out of all of the projects I've heard from Devin, easily his best one. And just a track from there you might want to look at is Doobie Ashtray, which was, I believe that was produced by Primo, which is crazy because I don't know, I never thought I'd hear Devin the Dude over a Primo beat, but it's not like a boom bap beat. It's actually really chill, really laid back. It's a perfect. That track also just kind of encompasses Devin the Dude sound. So like that's another one of those songs where if you like that song, then dig into the rest of Devin's discography, because you'll definitely like it. But yeah, I would say give Just Trying to Live a listen first if you've never listened to Devin's music. Start with there and then maybe go to Acoustic Levitation. But for people who are Devin fans, like if you've been riding for Devin or you've been listening to him this long, I'm pretty sure you'll like Acoustic Levitation. Compared to One for the Road, I didn't listen to that album that much. It was okay, but I think I can say this is probably better than that. Even though I haven't listened to One for the Road for a long time, so I might be wrong, but it's at least, I think it's a little better than that. This is definitely one of his better works that I've heard as of late. So yeah, man, shout outs to Devin the Dude. Acoustic Levitation, solid album, so give that a look. The last album, well, I can't even say album, music project I will talk about today. I was pretty excited when I saw this because I didn't know this was coming out at all. I can't remember if I've mentioned these guys before, but Cunninlynguists is probably, I can't even say like current favorite groups, like probably like all-time favorite hip hop groups. They hail out of Lexington, Kentucky, and these dudes, I was introduced to them. I know a lot of people, one of their earliest, I think, critically like acclaimed albums was A Piece of Strange. I was a tad bit late to the Cunninlynguists party, so the first album I heard from them in full was Dirty Acres, which one of these days I'm going to do a podcast talking about that album as well as Blue and Exile, Below the Heavens. Just a small tangent, but like those are two albums that really changed like the way I started. Like those two albums really changed my music taste back when they came out. Like those two albums are pretty responsible for probably from the time when I was like maybe between like 18 and 20. Like the music I was listening to before those albums came out changed after those albums came out. Like those two albums completely changed the way I started to ingest music and what type of music I like. But I'll go into that at a later date. But anywho, I just say that to say I've been listening to Cunninlynguists pretty much for a long time. After I heard Dirty Acres, I went back, I listened to A Piece of Strange, We'll Rap for Food, which is a really, really, really dope album that I wish I could get a physical copy of, but it's on like Amazon for like $99 or something ridiculous like that. But I mean, either, just to say, man, these dudes have been in the game for a while, and they're probably one of the most consistent groups. I've never bought a Cunninlynguists project or even any of their solo works. For people who don't know, the group is composed of Deacon the Villy, who's an MC, Natty, who's an MC, and No, who is a producer. The members of the group have changed over the years. I believe when they first started, I think there were a few other members, but this has been like the trio pretty much since Dirty Acres, maybe a little before, I'm not too sure, but these three are pretty much the group now and have been for a long time. And just a tidbit, No is one of the dopest producers I've ever heard. Like this dude, he uses samples that just like, for one, I don't know the samples that he uses. Like, and it's no diss to other producers, but like you know when you've heard a sample that's kind of been recycled over and over, even though it might still be dope, like you know what the sample is. When No uses samples, I have no idea where these songs are coming from, but this dude is a phenomenal producer. But to get to this EP, it's entitled The Rose EP. This came out of nowhere on March 31st. I think I just happened to be scrolling through my Facebook timeline, and you know, I like Cunninlynguists page on Facebook, so you know, I see all of their updates, and then I just popped across my screen, and without even listening to any single or anything, I just went to the Bandcamp and I downloaded it. It's a really, really short EP. A lot of EPs nowadays like 5 and 6 songs. This is 3, so they get real straight to the point. But this is a really, really, really dope EP. For one, I love the artwork with the you got the black chick with the afro, and she has like this really cool red background. As far as content of the album, this is very, very socially charged, and the 3 songs in this EP only totals to like 12 minutes. And the 3 songs that they got, man, they packed a lot of content. into these 3 songs. So I guess just real quick, I'll just kind of go through all 3. The first track is entitled Red, White, and Blues and features Jason Coffey, who sings the hook. And the track starts off with America, I love you, even after everything you put my blood through. Every descendant of a slave ought to cuss you, throw a middle finger up and say, and he doesn't even say what you think he would say. He just lets it fade out. But that's kind of like the theme of the song, is them just discussing, you know, all right, we're in this country and we don't mind being here. We want to be here, but you know, it hasn't been hasn't been the friendliest ride, to say the least. But like, what I enjoy about Deacon and Natty, if you've never listened to them, like, these dudes are very, very good writers. Like, you know, a lot of people say like rap isn't poetry and that nonsense. Like, no, these dudes have really, really just good pens. Like, it's very descriptive, it's very poetic, the way they kind of string words together. I guess just to give you a kind of a hint, I'm trying to find a bar. I have the lyrics pulled up right in front of me. I should have took notes, but I'm not professional. But I guess they're like one of the lines: cage bird still singing, chain gang still drumming, 100 miles we still running, 400 years. Give me a pound of Bob Marley, American flag strapped to the back of black Harleys. Like, it's very descriptive, the way they describe like kind of how the black experience has been in America from way back when to when we first got here up until now. And they both just pretty much have verses kind of describing that. So that track, it starts off really heavy, and it gets heavier. The second track, which is probably my favorite out of the 3, is Riot. And I guess this one kind of hit home because I am a native Marylander. I'm pretty sure people know about the Baltimore riots. I don't live in Baltimore anymore, but that was pretty much like right in my backyard, like not even 30 minutes away from me. So yeah, I really like this song. And like, the hook is him talking about, you know, actually I guess to say it, old head saying, why them people outside trying to keep them young boys quiet, get low, why them young boys wild, looking at them about to start a ride, good lord. And it's kind of like the hook is, this song really encompasses like what brings a riot to happen. Like, how do people hit that point where they get so fed up that they start to, you know, like, it reaches that boiling point. And the hook is kind of, you know, it mentions like, you know, young boys, young girls out here riding. And like I said, the hook is literally asking like, well, why are y'all doing this? Like, how does it get to this point? And then the verses kind of go in the script of telling like how it is that, you know, how it is that we got to that boiling point, when we got to the point where it's like, all right, man, no more. We're not marching. We're just about to wreak havoc. And yeah, man, it's a really heavy track, man. Like, and I love the way this track ends. Oh man, I gotta find the line. Yeah, okay. So Deacon the Villain, who also has an album out, just throw in there, called Piece of Power. Definitely check that out. And actually, I can't remember Natty's solo album. I feel so bad. But yeah, check out both of their solo works. But anywho, my favorite part of this song is towards the end in Deacon's closing verse. And he says, reverse psychology, the apology, that civil war wasn't fought for me, it was economy. Look, A-Pre the slaves date recorded, but it took 100 years to piss in the same toilet. Like, bruh, that that verse, that I ain't say that really, or that verse is dope, but like those 2 bars in particular, like, that kind of like encompasses what this EP is like, man. It's like I don't know, it's heavy, man. It's heavy stuff. Like, yeah, man, I don't really know what to say. This album has so much just social content. I could probably go on and on, but it really speaks to like the current, really past and current climate of America as far as like race relations go. And that's pretty much like the theme of this EP. And shout out to No, who never slacks on production, man. This dude knows how to create a good mood. He has like a signature sound, and I can't even really describe it, but like I just know a no beat when I hear one, because nobody else sounds like him. They don't do the sounds that he does. He has a good way of, I don't know, just creating like a certain like atmosphere to his tracks. So yeah, Riot is easily my favorite out of these three. And then track number 3, Red Bird. Compared to the first two, this track is a lot more, it's a lot more chill. I can't say chill. I guess melancholy would probably be the word. Like, it has a really somber mood to it. And I need to listen to this track a little more, because I'm not gonna lie, when I listen to this EP, I normally end up I listen to the first track, and then I get to Riot, and then I just kind of stay on Riot. And I feel like I haven't given Redbird enough listens, because I haven't fully interpreted this song. It's also, like I said, it's very descriptive, it's very poetic, so I kind of need to like read the lyrics to kind of get exactly what it is they're talking about. Like, I'm not sure if the red bird they're describing is like an actual person, or if it's some kind of metaphor for something. But nevertheless, still loaded with content. I think one of my favorite lines on this track, where is it at? Natty, he had the first verse on here. Catch a breeze and glide further than the eyes can see, or stay attached to the turf as the mind concedes, and never soar so close to pole every raven is evermore, or simply weather the storms in search of a perfect shore. Like, these dudes are geniuses with the pen, man. Like, it's so just descriptive and poetic the way they describe things. So I mean, I can't talk much about this EP. Like I said, it's only 3 tracks, but I don't know if this is a prelude to an album that's coming out. I would not mind a Cunninlynguists project and 2K17 to add on to the list of already other dope albums that are coming out this year. But yeah, man, this EP, like, if I know if you're a Cunninlynguists fan, I know you're loving this. Like, there's no way this EP touches it touches the soul, man. Like, it touches a nerve. Like, it's really just it's powerful stuff, man. I go on and on. Like, Cunninlynguists has been on a roll, man. Like, these dudes never drop whack projects, whether it be from their group efforts to their solo works. Because even though the producer, solo, it's been a while since it came out. God, what's it called? I know one of the songs was called Rhythm of the Rain, but I can't remember if that's what the EP was called. But I remember I love the cover art of that album. But either way, anything Cunninlynguists related is dope. And especially, like, if you listen to their, I don't think We'll Rap for Food, I'm not sure if that was their first album, but that was one of the earliest works that I listened to from them. And that album was a lot more spitterific. It was a very fun listen, but it was a lot more bar oriented, of them like showing that they're very capable lyricists. But I feel like these last, I can't even say last few, like, since like A Piece of Strange came out, and that was like 06, like, these dudes have really pushed like just really good content, like, while still being lyrical and having bars, but like the content has definitely moved to the forefront of talking about, social issues and things like that. So this EP was just a small dose, but it was packed with content. Just every line, every bar, man. Like when you listen to this EP, I'll leave a link to the Bandcamp page. Just click the tab where you can look at the lyrics, man, and just read it while you listen to it, man. This EP is incredible, man. This is really high quality music. And yeah, let me be quiet, man. I could probably go on and on about just these 3 songs, but Actually, this episode ran a little longer than I thought, but yeah, man, that album it's dope, man. It's dope. So yeah, I guess I'll end it there. I don't have any other topics I wanted to really ramble on. So just a quick recap, man. Power Rangers the movie, solid flick. If you wanna, go see a movie with your family, have a nice little outing with your kids, go check it out. Go give it a look. Devin the Dude, Acoustic Levitation, solid album. If you've been a Devin fan for this long, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. If you're new to Devin's music, like I said, I think you should give maybe some of his earlier works a listen first. Like I said, just Trying to Live, probably a good one, or maybe To the Extreme also. And then maybe jump into this if you like those. But like I said, if you've been rocking with Devin for this long, you know what you're getting, and it's good stuff. And Cunninlynguists Rose EP, 3 tracks of fire, man. Just 3 tracks packed with content, just dopeness. And final shout out to my homie Richard Desiree, aka Bobcatgoldwav. His beat tape is called the Wabi Sabi Samurai. I will leave a description to that below, and I'll probably let one of those beats from that project fade out this episode. I'll let it run for a little bit so you guys can get a taste of it. But anywho, man, check out all the albums, man. Check out all the music. I'll never lead you guys astray. I'm gonna give you some good quality, indie hip hop. And not sure what albums I'll be reviewing next. I did recently just purchase Rock Marciano's Rosebud Revenge, so I've only given it one listen so far, so I gotta let that sit with me a little more. I'll probably talk about that. I know Joey Badass is dropping Friday. Allegedly, I guess Kendrick is dropping Friday. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I'll get around to definitely talking about those. And yeah, that's it, man. So a lot of good music today. Put me in a good mood. And whenever I get some new tunes in my ears, I will definitely share them with you guys. Also, if you're a fan of the episodes where I cover fights with my co-host the Anti-Cool, we may talk about that Bellator card. To be honest, I'm not sure. I watched it, but I didn't watch it, so I don't know. But yeah, anytime people are getting punched and kicked in the face, we'll be there to talk about it. So whenever some fights happen, and then we got the UFC pay-per-view this Saturday, so we'll definitely be covering that. But yeah, man, hopefully I want to deliver more music to you guys a little more frequently. That was kind of the main reason I started this podcast. I know the fights kind of took over, mainly because like this last few months, man, it's been a lot of fights, just a lot of good fights. But I got to start listening to some more music. I want to share more music with people, put you guys on to some more stuff, and y'all can put me on to more stuff, fair exchange, bartering system. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna be in here too long making this a long outro, so Serious Sensei, I'm out. Be safe.
Bobcat